Tamam, sir.
Thank you. We're going to last row that's about speaking all the time, one to another. I see you. Don't speak. That's the first one. The second, I'm going to talk about people. Not millisecond, even though it's very, very important, and not any kind of technology, because at the end, cyber is people. Because the weakest link in every cyber crisis, and I manage more than 30, some of them are the biggest that were in Israel, the weakest link is always the person. So we're going to start the day after the crisis. Just want to give also the honor to my colleague and dear friend, Mr. Harish Mehta, who brought me here to you guys. He's the CEO of Mac and Me, and we work together a lot. At the end, you have a QR with my details and Harish, and you're going to get this presentation to you guys, because it's also work tool for you. So there's no need to take any photo of me disturbing you in the screen, because you're going to get that as PDF, so I can assure you. This is what happened to the world after the 7th of October 2023. Not only Israel got turned upside down, the whole world. Because as you see, this is December, the most targeted country in the world is Israel. And it's because it is a war. Before that, the most targeted country in the world was Ukraine, because of the war. And I don't wish it to anybody. But if there's going to be any war involving India, it's going to be India. Because the civil and the army got mixed. One second, did somebody hear me on the Zoom? Percentage of the whole volume of the Israeli network, which is the very big one. It goes up to 4% of the whole volume of access to Israeli websites. 4% of that was DDoS attack, distributed denial of service. 4%, you can't even imagine that. That means that cyber crisis is going to get to everybody. Cyber crisis, it's not the share of big companies. SMBs, small medium businesses, going to realize that they have cyber problem just like the bigger one. But guess what? They don't have enough money, don't have enough tools to confront such threats. Are you safe enough? The word safe enough, I'm going to reply them again and again and again, because of the fact that this is the solution to a problem that I will present to you now. How do you see, how do you see it in the day after? A cyber crisis is an event that starts with the tech division, but it is not limited to the tech division. You have to understand that cyber crisis management, it's a very young method. There's not much theory behind that. Most of the people who deals today with cyber crisis management are either people from the army who did negotiations, or people from the tech industry who knows their technology. But see the definition behind me. Cyber crisis will start in the tech division, but will not be limited to the tech division. It will have influence on the reputation, the finance, the IP, the intellectual property, and the privacy, and more and more and more of the company, of the organization. So the main difference between a cyber crisis and another crisis, let's say that the CEO was caught in sexual harassment. This is a crisis for an organization. But cyber crisis is different in the height of the waves and the ripples. And the waves are very high in cyber countries. Civil liability. CEOs, COOs, all the C-suits of a company now can be liable. Civil, and we're going to see afterwards, also criminal, in things that they didn't do when they had the time to do that. See, Home Depot, 27 million. 27 million. There goes the bonus of that year. We're going to continue. Regulatory changes. You know, we had, a few years ago, we had the GDPR, who was very new, and we had the California Privacy Act, who was not obliging, and it was only California, but most of the states in the United States of America adopted part of it. But look at 2023. California, you have the CPRA, the Privacy Act, the new one. Virginia has one. Colorado has one. Connecticut has one. Utah has one, and we didn't speak about the GDPR. And just think that all of that can be applied to you if you're going to have, let's say, you sell refrigerators. You have a big site to sell refrigerators. But one customer is coming from Utah, one customer is coming from Virginia, one is coming from California, and the last one coming from France. Houston, we have a problem. Because without knowingly, you have all these regulations on your head. Look at that. Directors have a duty to oversight the cybersecurity. You know what? You know what? What is wrong about that? Directors doesn't know to oversight. Most of them, directors specifically, doesn't know to oversight cyber. Because you guys, you know, I'm the head of the second degree, the master's degree in the own academic college for cybersecurity in the MBA program. And all my students are going through a course of being a senior director, cyber expert. Because managers doesn't know to ask the right questions in order to know whether their organization is safe enough or not safe enough against cyber. You guys, all of the guys in here, coming from tech, coming from law, coming from the police, coming from whatever, you can be the director who's going to ask the right question. And I think that in a very short while, you're going to see a cyber expert as a director in every medium business, not to mention the big one. Developers, those who like the free and the open source software. So not only you have to now to look at all of the licenses of all of the open source code that you used, otherwise somebody can sue you because you used it not according to the common common license or common corporation or whatever license there is, and there are more than 1,900 different licenses in open source. Not only that, now there's also privacy limitation about that. If you thought that open source is free from concerns, free from pain, it's only free in writing. That's all. Nothing more than that. Look at that. Look at that. And that, you know, that most of the big companies, and I had my share of chasing money all over the world in business email compromise, BEC. You know that? Stop me if you don't know one of the initials. Business email compromise, president stings. Lots of businesses fail in these stings, and they tried to keep it quiet, even though it was very, very expensive. But now, look at that. In phone call, with deep fake, 35 million. 35 million. We authorized that in deep fake. You cannot rely even on Zoom conversation with somebody because maybe the other guy or the other woman on the other side, he is an AI fake. This is you guys. Responsibility. You know, in every crisis management, and if I'm talking too much, please stop me. In every crisis management, you have the 4 phases of grief. First of all, deny. Deny. You come to somebody and you tell him, listen, the guy in the last row, I'm telling you, you're not listening to me now, and you're going to have a cyber crisis. Now you are in the middle of a cyber crisis. And this customer is telling you, listen, I know you want to earn money, and I like you a lot, but I have no cyber credit. This is something I can confront with myself. I can solve it myself. And he's wasting the golden hours in which he can do something before all his files gonna be encrypted, before the money is getting out, before most of you have 3 dimensions in a cyber crisis. First, the organization. You want to keep the organization alive. Second, the stakeholders. And every stakeholder wants something else. The shareholders want the company to exist, to survive. The CEO wants to survive the year that he can retire with his bonus. All of the C-level want the CEO not to fire them, especially the CTO and the CISO, not to fire them now, and they wish it's going to last 6-7 months so they can say that they fired themselves instead of somebody fired them on that defeat. The customers want the thing that they bought from you and didn't get it to them, or the service. The suppliers want the money. Everybody wants something else, and you have to be the slave of all of these stakeholders in one of the dimensions, only one of the dimensions, and the regulators. The regulators. You have the security and the SEC or whatever, I don't know what it is in India, but on your head, because you have to report. You have to report the stock exchange on what happened. But you don't want to do that because you're on the verge of IPO. And I had a cyber crisis just like that. A company that was on just starting IPO in NASDAQ had a cyber crisis that one of the Amazon buckets was not defined correctly, and lots of invoices were leaked. And investor and client, then professional negotiator. By the way, what is the role of the negotiator? What is the role of the negotiator? To negotiate?
Yeah, definitely to see to that
No, it's not his role. What is the role of the negotiator? What is the role of the what?
ransomware crisis where you go and negotiate with the hacker, you know how to get the money.
No, because most of the ransomware are not for ransom. Most of the ransomware are state-sponsored group that want to cause damages. And if it's a group that wants money, you're going to pay them in the beginning. No negotiation needed. The negotiation person is the one who gives you information about the motivation of the attackers. And this information is very important. Because if you're dealing with Moses staff, which is an Iranian group, you know that you have nobody to speak to. Just close all the gates, close all the ports, close all the servers, and go home and start your bodies. Start your debt. Start counting your debt. But if it's another one, like Lockbit, heard about Lockbit? By the way, you are a team, and they have to lay their attorney-client privilege on the IR team. You know why? because the IR team are witness number one in the class action or in the trial against the company. So the IR team is going to be a part of the legal team, so everything they do has attorney-client privilege. Second, counseling and defending corporation and its organs involving GRC, governance, risk, compliance, and the process that balances privacy and class action consideration. You have to write the bill of defense of the organization while working. That means that you guys, if you're going as a tech people to understand what happened, be careful. Because you can dig in places that won't help the organization. It maybe will help the truth, but nobody gives a damn about the truth. Because you have to keep the organization alive. So you can't dip deeper in places that are not really necessary. So every time you have to ask the lawyer, should I go down, should I dip down, or even more than that, in order to understand what happened? Because the lawyer is writing the bill of defense of the organization in the crisis, during the crisis, not after. Connect with the regulators. You have to be always in a very sincere and very close connection with the regulators. Why? Because if you're going to be with such a relation, you're going to be the one who feeds them with information, instead of them coming to your server and devour all of the evidence. You have to be the one who feeds them. But you have to be sincere. You have to be sincere. Because at the end, the regulators want the company to continue to exist. You have the same. I'll give you an example. 3 years ago, Iranian group penetrated a big company with lots of websites in the servers. One of them was the website of the gay community in Israel. So after the media in Israel helped them to realize what they had in their hands, because they said the gay community big website was hacked. So the Iranians were very happy because, you know, gays are not very common, very respected there. So the government came and said, listen, this is an incident that is way beyond your shoulders. They wanted to take the incident to their responsibility. So the first thing was, we recruited few retired generals, we put them in the table, and we told the government, listen, we know what we are doing, see who is at the table, let us work. And they did let us work. More than that, we hired a very big government relation office. In one of the committees of the Knesset, the parliament, he came and he asked why the government is not doing anything while a state-sponsored attack group like Mother Stuff and others are doing such damages to Israeli websites. And all of the debate